Sorry, I was getting into the music.
Hey, I know. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, what's up, guys? Bob here for Bob Randall and Company Live. Hope you had a great weekend. Let's say hello to my friend, my brother, the man with a plan who always loves to shake your hand from Maine to the plains as far as the left coast, and is my illustrious co-host here on Mondays Fun Days. My sidekick, Randall Santa Checker Lee.
Hey guys, I know you like to kick me, but where's the problem? I know that. But thanks, Bob. Always, man, you must take a long time writing all that. I tell you, it's fantastic. Great to see everybody. Welcome to Monday, TGIM, TGIM, everybody. Wow, what a weekend! I loved it,
Randy, I hear you were busy all weekend.
man. I just got to be so thankful. I got to be thankful. It was just a fantastic weekend. Just wonderful people, and just what a riot. Oh, people just get so, I mean, you just love those reactions when you do some magic and stuff. That just that laughter and that smile and that just it's just like, oh, I can't be any luckier, Bob. Can't be any luckier. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
It revitalizes you, energizes you, gives you the drive to get up and do more, it's amazing how infectious a crowd can be. And speaking of, I hear that you have been busy working on the exterior of the house, landscaping, getting things looking good. And I guess your neighbors are probably loving that as well as yourself.
I was out there watching. I had the house power wash today. Man, it just looks so nice when it's power washed. And one of my neighbors were they were walking their dogs, and they go, "You're gonna make our house look bad." No, I'm not. That's not what I mean. Just the neighbor came the other day and knocked on the front door and said, "I like what you're doing to the because it's kind of like the back of her house, the side of my house. I've been doing stone work and putting stuff up, so it's just feeling so good around the new house. It's I hate to say this because it's always going to bring me up to bother me, but it's for a bad reason I got it. But I can't be any more thankful. I thanked earlier today that I think there was somebody watching when I got this house and helped me get it. So thank you.
Absolutely. And some of you may have heard my weather radio just went off. Been partly sunny on and off all day. It'll be cloudy for 15, 20 minutes, and then the sun will peek, back through. We've got storms in the area. We've had storms here every day, it seems like, for the last couple of weeks at least, and today is no exception. That's the reason I brought up Randy being able to get out and do some work. Their
Mm.
weather up there has been fairly nice. Tell them about it, Randy. How's your weather been?
Man, we were a little chilly. We were only 42 this morning, but we got up to 70 some this afternoon. So it was nice. I left my show yesterday. I came home and because I was too in a hurry Saturday after my show. I was too tired. I just mowed, but I got the weed whacker out yesterday because it was so nice coming home yesterday. And because the weather's been just beautiful, man, it's finally, no, I was joking about seeing flurries on Mother's Day before, but it's happened. And we made it with no Mother's Day, no flurries.
Well, it rained here all day yesterday, so it is what it is in the springtime in the South, especially.
Yeah.
And for us, it's nothing any different than years past. Lots of rain in April and May here, and hey, it makes everything green up really nice. Of course, then when the tap gets turned off, it gets hot and everything turns brown. So we enjoy springtime. All right, Randy, are you ready to get into this something burger? Hot topics
I'm ready,
today?
ready, ready, ready.
Let's do this. Here we are, our hot topic segment for the day. As always, we're going to Randy throw this question out to everyone. We want everyone to kind of give us your thoughts. Type in the comments how you would handle this or what you think about it. Over to you, Randy.
It's another one of those questions like, what do you guys do on this? Oh, I'm getting feedback all of a sudden. Am I still there? There we go.
Yeah.
That was weird. It's no one's questions. What do you guys do? And ladies do, of course, on some of this. It's only 6 months till really our season starts. November is 6 months away. It's kind of crazy to believe we are halfway through. Even though Christmas is what 230, 20 some days away, most of our season starts October, November. So I'm just posing these questions out to you guys, and you can I'd love to hear your answer. Um, what what do you guys do for boots? Do you guys use fur top boots? Do you like just regular boots without the fur tops? And I don't mean spats, but I mean the boots with the fur around the top or no fur. And why? What some people have reasons why they don't like the fur, and some like the fur. And suits. Do you like Coca-Cola suits? Do you like traditional suits? And why? Just curious because it's that time to already get our. If we want to get a new costume, we shouldn't say costume. That's right. It's not a costume. It's a suit. Um, we have to start thinking about it now. And but I'm kind of curious because I used to always use boots with fur. In fact, I have both actually, but I like them without the fur now because when children would sit on your lap, they take their shoes and they would keep on their heels would keep on rubbing on the fur and they'd be dirty. I'm sure now they thank goodness you have detachable fur tops. You can put buy new ones. But years the boots they were on there, so I kind of went to no fur, and I kind of like that look. Um, and I got a toss up between the Coca Cola and the traditional. I don't have a favorite. How about you, Bob? What do you? And of course, our guests got a. I'm sure we're gonna have a great list of what they like, either tops or no tops, or so.
I go a couple of days. Of course, again, I'm at the mall, so my situation is different than most. Cherry Hill supplies us with suits. I get 3 suits a year: two Adele Coca-Cola suits and one traditional suit that's for pet night. Now, this last year I actually got or the year before last, I got a traditional and an Adele's Coca-Cola. They were both Adele's, but one traditional, one Coca-Cola. So they kind of mix it up at times. But this last year it was two Adele coats, color coats without the fur. For me, I like it without the fur because it doesn't take away from your beard. But then there's other times when, you know, I've seen pictures with myself with a color suit on it, and I like that look too. I mean, with a traditional suit on, I like that look too. As far as boot toppers now, I do go without the boot toppers a few times each season. Most time I wear mine because it's something that Cherry Hill kind of requires that we do. They've never said anything about not wearing the boot toppers, but it is in our contract that we should. And for me, I have several pair. Bring them home every couple of 3 days. When the wife does the gloves, she throws the toppers in with them and does them all at one time. Take them out, let them air dry, and then brush them out and ready to go.
Now I have to ask because I've never used a topper. I've only had boots with the fur on them or
Mhm.
boots with no fur. Do they stay down in your boot well when you're walking, or
They
like how
do.
it tucks down in?
The ones I have are Adele's, and they have a really great elastic. And they're
Those are
silk lined with the white silk on the inside, and they fit right around the top of that boot, and they stay right there in place. It doesn't matter if I wear my boots that I've had for a number of years. Actually, got those from Ska Boots Company, and or my Mr. Spears boots. They stay right in place. Never had a bit of trouble out of it.
very cool, very
I just make
interesting.
sure that I brush them in the morning before I go out, and then after I get through eating, I'll brush them again before I go out for the afternoon shift.
Wow, cool. Well, I'm just curious because I like I said, I've switched going to the no fur, so I just kind of wondering, and I sometimes feel non-traditional look that way. If they're wondering, wait a minute, and I don't have the um, the leather over the top like a pirate boot. I don't even have the that even
Leather
on there.
boot cup, yeah.
It's just like a it's just like a actually I use a riding boot that goes up to my knees.
Hmm.
So
But that's the glory about Santa in 2023, 2022. Last few years, there's so many different looks, and everything is accepted now. Toppers, no boot toppers, leather cuffs, boot cuffs, like you were talking about, and or without. Both my Spears and my Ski boots have the fold over leather
okay,
topper on it, and then I just put my fur boot topper over the top of that, and it covers it, so I can wear it either way.
neat. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a few. We got definitely got some people adding in here. I got to make sure I scroll down a little bit. AJ, whoop, we got We got way before Sean as a Facebook user. I'm not sure. I have I have both toppers. I have tops and a pair of spear boots. Um, Sean, leather. Sorry, I don't know the ARI Arist black.
Ariats, yeah, I
Right?
think so.
That's a fancy word there, Sean. Too classy for me, but that's a cool word. That's very good. Of course, AJ said he used both. He has both. Hey, Ron. Good afternoon to you, Mr. McLam. Ben. Sorry, Ben, that the opening was going so slow. Sorry, Ben. Um, yeah, boots with separate ones because Deb gave me what they came that with his suit, and I love him. He likes them separate, which is good. Like you said, Bob, you can take them off, interchange with or without, brush them beforehand. Um, and my your main suit is a modified Coca-Cola suit. Hmm. Well, of course, without the front fur is, I guess, and what I'm not sure what modified is. Is it from then made fur from the belt down? I think would that be the proper? Was that what they
Might
mean
be
by
he can
modified? Um,
throw in the comments there and clarify that for us, if you will.
yeah, I'm curious what because I have seen a one that the belt and then you have fur from the belt down, but not from the belt up.
Uh-huh.
Another Facebook user says, I like boot toppers. They add the appearance. Like I said, I agree too. That's why I sometimes don't feel as traditional without the fur around. Um, no Coca Cola suit though. I choose a different suit and look for different clients. Perfect. I guess that's probably the best answer too. Is what your client is looking for. Your client might say, "We want a casual Santa," so you're going to wear a pair of overalls or those gorgeous vests that are being made now. Oh my gosh, they blow me away. The belt, the ones with the belts and everything. There's some beautiful vests up there, and of course the shirts and they're just as classy and Santa looking as a Coca-Cola or traditional suit. But again, that's exactly right. What your client wants. It's not always what we want. They're paying us. Um, I use Santa Rick Caleri's boot toppers. Very good. I use rubber boots. What's best about those, especially if you're doing a parade or you're doing something outside or a tree lighting, they're not going to get ruined. Mine just have the elastic around, and really, Ben says, move unless the others I run a marathon, so they're pretty sturdy, Ben, unless you run and I couldn't see nothing personal, Ben. You're probably in good shape, but maybe running a marathon, yeah, I don't know. Mr. Scott Parker's the next one. 11 years fur top boots. You'll love them. That's from Costume Magic. Good suit toppers. Go with it. Great company, man. Great suits. Um, maybe they're growing. Maybe sometimes they're growing me. Yeah. Santa Mark Coca-Cola suit with fur toppers. Also have boot toppers. I love the traditional look. And again, it's more of a I don't think it's a total personal opinion because like Bob said, he has them for both. And what I was kind of thought Bob said is he has the fur for pet night. There's more fur for the animals to get next to. That was kind of shocked me, Bob, when you said you have the traditional suit which has the fur. If you're going to hold the animal, you're close more to the fur to transfer stuff. But
It's true.
interesting.
And same way with the boot toppers. It seems that with the fur toppers, the very first thing a pet will do, dogs in general, come in, they want to stick their nose in that
Yep.
fur
Yep.
and start, getting all in there
Yep.
with it. So after each pet night, I do have to wash my, toppers for sure. Because if I don't, then they're going to have that, that smell and that residue that you get.
Okay. I don't know if you know. I'm not sure. I said I had riding boots, not go-go boots. These boots aren't made for walking. Um, if you're old enough to remember that line, these boots are made for Nancy
That's
Stockton.
Santa Tom
Stockton.
up in Vancouver, Washington.
Um, go-go boots.
Gary Linder
Oh,
says he has
oh,
motorcycle boot toppers.
only with a little gray on top of the head do you understand what go-go boots are. That's pretty good. Um,
Nancy Sinatra.
Nancy and I, these boots are made for walking. What a wow. I've seen that aired lately a lot too. It's just maybe it's a new cult thing coming up. Sean said again, cowboy boots, especially Mrs. Claus. That's what good about Mrs. Claus is. She can same thing. She can probably shouldn't wear big high heels, but she can do the like you said, you white cowboy boots, um, uh, boot top, white fur around, whatever. Great. That same thing like Bob said. It's 2023. Mrs. Claus has got a great variety of clothing, and the ladies there did such a great job on the fashion show. Um, didn't they do a fashion show down in Branson? Not Branson, excuse me, down in Tennessee in Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg, yes, they did.
Yeah, so just there had to be some fantastic looking variety of things that Mrs. Claus can do. Thumbs up to you, ladies. There are some genius ladies out there when it comes to looks. Um, we have a Facebook user that says no fur collar. Um,
That's
actually,
Senator Tom again.
there's a lot of Santa suits that don't even have like almost a Nehru. I think it's called. Well, back in the days, it was called like a Nehru collar, but without even a fur collar on your coat, which is different. Um, a button down front, which is Ben Coca-Cola suit, right? And there's some gorgeous buttons out there. Man, there's some beautiful buttons. 8, 10, $15 a button, but they're beautiful, worth every penny if you're going to spend that kind of money on a suit. Uh, um, for me, the suit depends upon the event exactly, and like we said earlier, it has to do with your client.
That's
Um,
Eric and Moesha with that
oh, okay.
comment.
Hi, Eric. I'm good to see you. Yeah, exactly. And you're not going to wear because you're doing a big parade, you're doing a big thing. You want to have the coat, you want to have the look. You don't want to just. So that is the bottom line. Uh, New vests are coming in June. I'm liking the vest. Oh, lucky for you, Scott Parker. Yeah, that's. I mean, there's some. When you scroll down Facebook, you see some gorgeous vests, man. I think I'm gonna have to partake in a new one this year. I really am. Facebook user said another one for on top of their boots. Carl, good to see you, Carl. Um, I've used boot toppers with Ride Tech. Oh, motorcycle boots. Okay.
Right,
That
Tech.
have been with the Santa buckle added. And there's some great buckles you can even put on the side. That's what I did to my one pair of boots that have the fur. I put a nice big buckle on the side, so it gives a little bit more depth to the fur. Um, Rhonda's fur toppers by
Angie's
Originals.
Originals.
Angie's Original, very good.
Mhm.
Scott, Easy Fix, don't do pet. Easy Fix, don't do pet night. Yeah, that's if you don't want to transfer that stuff. You're right. Easy Fix, don't do pet night. Um, I wear Jackie. I wear black boots with fur toppers to match Santa. See, that's again, man. You got a Mrs. Claus. You're working somebody. Man, you guys can walk in. Like I know, like I said, I'm gonna bring it up again. Erica Moisha's white stuff. Man, you walk in and that just boom blows people away. The look when Santa and Mrs. Claus can like Jackie said, can match up. Wow. I mean, it is almost breathtaking to look when I mean that looks like a cohesive. Even if you're not husband and wife in real life, you guys can just do have that look, which is just phenomenal. Great, exactly, Jackie. Perfect. Um, thanks for the heads up about fur boots. Oh, probably about Facebook users, probably about sniffing the boots. Maybe that's what that is. Thanks for the heads up. But yeah,
Could be that's Eric again.
okay, yeah, that's what it is. They'll put their wet nose on there. A lot of them without a doubt, you know. But
It's
I always
it's
had the
almost
problem
%.
more the heels of the children's shoes. If they're when they're sitting there, they're moving your legs and they're just rubbing their heels on it, and so uh, I think Chrissy Kovig called a non-fur collar a Peter Pan collar.
Yep.
Not a Nehru. I guess there's plenty of you from the '60s who remember Nehru suits, but
Uh-huh.
I was speaking out of turn. But wow, great connection, guys. Fantastic input. So we've got kind of all over the both sides of what everybody does and why, which is great. Thank you. Oh, we got somebody else here. I had a separate suit used only for pets.
That's
Definitely
Patrick
a
Moss.
good.
Patrick Moss. I want to say hi to Patrick. Good to have you on today, brother.
Good to see you, Patrick. Exactly. I mean, it's a smart idea to have a separate suit, or uh, just because you never know. and it's always good to have it, especially if you know you're doing pet day. So wow, guys,
Yeah,
thank you. Oh,
and
I missed.
for me at the mall, we go through so many pets on pet night, and it's not just pet night for us; it's mixed. I mean, and it
Oh
really
yeah,
is funny how it breaks down, but it's almost like a pet, a child, a pet, a child, a pet, a child. So for me, I have to change gloves between each time I
yeah.
have a pet. I have a set for pets. Each time I have a child, I have a set that has not touched the animals. I spray with disinfectant. I even brush my arms and suit down
Oh wow.
between those visits, so there's no hair left on me and or the chair. When I had the material, now the chair is leather, so it's not as bad. I just wipe it
Wipe it
without having
down.
to brush it. But those are all precautions that we take because children, so many children nowadays do have sensitivity to pets.
Pets, especially because it adds so much to our fur. But I made these just a cover that just goes on my lap.
Uh huh.
I just put it on my lap when I know, and I keep this with my bag when I'm where I'm performing, and I just lay it on my lap. Pet gets on that. I still have to worry about my sleeves or my, like you said, get a new pair of gloves. But I always have extra gloves in there too. But I always cover my lap when I know I'm having a pet. I just take it out of my bag, and you don't have to worry about. Again, man, that really blended in with the shirt, didn't it? I didn't realize it was going to blend in that much, but it did, didn't it? I guess I must like that pattern. I guess.
Yeah. Hey, it never goes out of style, and so many of those patterns you can find that type of pattern and so much more in
Yeah.
a tree skirt, a Christmas tree skirt.
Oh yeah.
And those you can get fairly inexpensive. Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, Dollar General, Walmart, different sources. Lay that across your lap. It works just the same, and it's festive. I might have been. Who knows? That a lot of things come out of my mouth when I get to talking too fast. I might have said "pet a child" night. Oh my goodness! All right, so like I said, we got Patrick Moss with us, Charlie Johnson, of course, we mentioned Eric and Moesha. Just kind of run down through here. Parker's always with us. Jerry Kyle. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. I
We got
always mess
AJ,
names
we
up.
got Adam, we got Kimmy, we got a whole bunch of great people joining us today. Wow. Thank you
Jack,
guys very
Jackie
much.
Jackie Chamberlain, Ron McLeod, Carl White's on with us, a future guest coming up here real soon. I want to say, give a shout out to Hot Rod Dan Hagenbach up in Kansas. Good to see you on here, my brother. Did we miss anybody? Santa Tom. Of course, we got Sean Marshall, we mentioned. Gary Linder. Got a great crowd today. Adam. Santa Mark. Did I miss anybody? We mentioned AJ.
We're glad you're
Ben
here, folks.
Bellhorn.
Thank you.
Kimmy Claus. Ted Flynn. Great crowd. Nathan Vanderbroek today. I mentioned Adam. Just kind of scrolling back up through here, make sure we cover about. Fantastic crowd and great participation on that particular question. I love it when we can share and put these things out there for everyone to be able to use and pick and choose from. So let's go on to our second question. This one pertains to contracts. How many of you use them? How do you handle a client, be it a home visit or corporation, who want to try and talk your price or services down? Negotiations is a big part of it, right? How much are you willing to bend just for the sake of it, or do you stand strong on your prices? Just kind of want to get an idea for the newer guys that's coming in, maybe someone who hasn't been out in the independent world, and mainly like me, that's worked a number of years at the mall where you don't do as many negotiations. If you do, like some folks like Randy, you know, so many independent gigs, home visits, or even a virtual. You've got to work with contracts and negotiations. So I'm just curious how you handle that. Do you do you bend any? Is it worth bending to get that gig? I guess it really depends. For me, it would be how booked up I was and how bad I needed gigs. That would be one factor.
I guess it goes back to in the beginning. I shouldn't say the beginning, but when you're first starting out, I know I bended as bendy as I could be. probably too much because I wanted to work as much as I could when I first started. I mean, I just can I fit it in? I don't want to lose this gig. I'm telling them 250. I'll do it for 200 or whatever. I know I bend if they balked at it or a little bit. I know I did quite a bit then in not just the Santa business, but my entertainment business too. I did the same thing. In contracts, folks, always work with a contract. Always
Yeah.
will. And I actually call mine a performance confirmation. I don't say the word contract, it's a performance confirmation. Even though they sign it, even though it has all those things on it. And again, I know we brought this up before. Don't ask for a deposit. Deposits are refundable. Tell them you require a retainer. A retainer is non-refundable, folks. So get that in there to make sure that. And the reason why I call it a performance confirmation, so me and the client both know we're on the exact same page. That we both understand. There's nothing in the gray area. That I know I need a place to park. That I know I'm going to be on from such and such a time. Whatever it is. And So make sure Bob is definitely something to bring up, like Bob brought up about doing contracts. It's a great thing to have. There's ones online. All you do is fill in the blank. You can do Kringle Tracker. They're already in there. You can get that program, and they're already in there. They'll just push and send, and they can electronically sign back to you and pay you online. So there's even programs out there that you can even easier for a contract. But I myself, the olden days of the handshake is kind of the days of the past. At least I feel they are. We got some great people adding some things on there.
All right, Charlie Johnson says, depending on complexity of the event, I use a contract or just an invoice, which acts as a contract in some ways. And I love the fact that you call that how did you put that, performance confirmation?
Performance confirmation, yeah.
I love that idea. That's something I had not heard before. See, this is why we do these.
It doesn't sound
Ron
as
McLaren
scary to
says,
people. That's why I do it. It doesn't sound as a contract. Ooh, that's scary. Especially if I'm just doing a house party. Oh, I'm just doing a birthday party. You got to have a contract for doing a birthday party? No, it's just a performance confirmation. It's the same thing, but it doesn't sound as bad. It doesn't sound as scary. So, sorry, Bob. I apologize. I
no. Great point. Ron McLaren says, I have not raised my rates, so no issues there. Ted says, I never go in with a set price. It all depends on the client. For those that don't make money off, my page keeps jumping here, off my appearances, I generally don't charge them. That's a good point. But I do like them to know what my regular rate is so that they realize what they're getting. And or, some guys, Ted, also say, because you're not making anything off of it, if you feel that you would like to tip me anything, that's fine. If you want to mention the word tip and or compensate me in any way, but I'm here to do it for free. If you feel good about that, if you like my performance, you can always, slip me something. Different ways of putting it. Who? Yes, I got it. My price is my price, and I use a contract, which I call an event plan for every visit, even my free ones. That's from Ben. Ben also says, I now send all my event plans contracts through Kringle Tracker, and they sign electronically. Then I send an invoice that they pay electronically. Kringle Tracker is really making it so easy. That's a great point. And for those of you who don't know what Kringle Tracker is, go check it out. Kringle Tracker, put that in Google and it will pop up. Still having trouble here. Let's ask Gary. Gary says, I use a contract for all my corporate customers. Ron said, just booked a Christmas party for a customer for the third time. 28 children last season, still charging $200 for the hour. That's a great point too, Ron.
Yeah.
Repeat customers. If you feel like what you done was and asked for was enough, then there's nothing wrong with not going up on your prices or changing it because the numbers change. How many folks, children or adults will be there. Sean told me to ask what's in the budget. That's Jerry,
And
I
that's
think.
true because some places have a budget, because then if you say, well, I want $400, and they say, well, the end of the budget only have two, or they say 400, and you tell them two ahead of time, it's sometimes it's smart to ask the budget, because that might be more than what you're going to ask sometimes.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's a great point, also. Thank you, Jerry, for that. Carl says, I use an engagement agreement with a retainer with clear language on important event specifics. Gosh, it's all messed up. For clients that engage me for more hours, I will sometimes reduce the price per hour because of the total bill. Like Randy, I start off compromising a little too much. Now I can stick to my rates. That's a good point, Carl. I do the same thing. My first hour for corporate, especially, and sometimes for home events, is one price. And if they book me for a longer period of time, I'll give them a break on the second, third, or so forth and so on. That way they feel like they're getting something. Here's the thing: you only made one trip, so it doesn't matter how long you're there.
And there's
You
no
know,
traveling in
when you look
between
at,
by wasting money driving. So it's if you get $50, $25 less an hour for your next hour, you're still further ahead. Yeah,
you're
I think
still ahead.
that's
That's right. Even
yeah.
if
I
you do
I
two
do the same
events
thing in my
opposed to the
magic
one.
business. Yeah. Yep. It's a
Uh,
great thing to do, Carl.
so Santa Tom says, so I've recently received money for services. I've emailed a client, thank you via email. Should I be sending invoices? Invoices are a great way, but thank you emails go a long way also. That's a personal touch that clients love that communication. And being able to reach out even a week later, 2 weeks later, even during the same season, to all your clients and saying, "Thank you so much for having me in this year. I had a blast. Remember, I start booking early, and if you'd like to have me back next year, always put that little bug in your ear to try to go ahead and get them to book as soon as you can."
Definitely put
Yes,
that bug in the ear.
Jackie says she likes the wording too, Randy. Ben wants to know, if is it ethical to increase your price just because they have a higher budget? What's your thoughts there, Randy?
I guess um it's kind of like how the conversation went.
Yeah,
If you say, let's say your first hour would have been $200, and they say, well, our budget is $300 for the hour. Did you tell them first you did 200, you wanted 200, or did they say their budget was 200 or 300? um I personally don't think it's, and if you feel worried about it, go halfway in between. I'll charge you two 50 then, instead of it'll save you on your budget.
yeah,
You'll be happy. And then, yeah, I don't think it's unethical. Most Santas, are worth that extra money. And if they have that in their plans, you're not ripping them off. Unless you're not a good Santa, or somebody new, wearing a Kmart special, which nobody on here does. That's different. But no, you're there. They had that in the budget, that the budget was 300 for that hour for Santa, and you're only thinking 200. But man, I can make an extra even $50 more. No, I don't think it's unethical at all, Ben. I mean, if they, no, that's just me. Just maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Bob?
well, we have cost and associated. And again, if I've got an event that's 20 minutes away, or if I've got an event that's an hour away, that extra $50 above what I was going to ask, if it's within, like you said, 200 for what I was going to ask, they have 300 in the budget. That extra 50 is going to go a long way for me. That extra 50 for them and their budget is going to help them out too.
Mhm.
So to me, it's a win-win
Yeah,
situation.
that's the way I would do it. I would try to go somewhere in between. If that's what concerns you, um, and we know, every Santa on here is going to give 110%, because all the time and effort, of your suits, and the ladies and Mrs. Clauses too, and the education. You're worth that money. Don't ever forget that. Even if you want to do it for free, you're worth every penny. I know Ted does a lot of stuff like that if they don't make any money. But he still works very hard at his craft. So you're worth it.
Ron says I always add a Christmas tip. I think he's talking about the party that he has booked numerous times. Parker says, "Oh snap, we get paid for this." Some of us do, some of us don't. Some, like Randy said, some don't charge. I know guys that actually have gone in saying my normal rate is 150 an hour. Uh, I'm going to come in. I'm not going to expect 150. I want you after the event to pay me what you think I was worth. And that leaves it and puts it back on the client to decide whether they're happy with that 150 price and or they say, well, this guy wasn't worth but $75 and that's what I'm going to give you. Now then that's on their conscience. You know, how do they sleep at night? But anyway, Ted has a great point here again. Is it ethical for suits to cost 2,000? Is it ethical for gas to be over $4 a gallon? You have expenses there, no harm in charging. I think it's supposed to be charging what clients can afford.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because like I said, that was in their budget. I mean, they wouldn't say what's above their budget. So you're not ripping them off by any means. Um,
The down part of watching you guys on the big screen, I'm answering and nodding. Good thing I'm home alone. Hey, I go back and watch the replays on our shows, and I catch myself sitting over here doing this all the time. So don't feel bad. I'm a bobblehead
yeah, me too. Uh,
because I'm
uh,
agreeing. Yes, that's right. That's what I do. Uh, did I miss anything up here? The
Ben
comments.
says he's curious about how many people publish their prices. I don't publish my prices on my website or
Ben,
or
I
on
do.
social
So
media.
I'm right opposite. I do, and the reason I do, and I have from day one, is that I want my clients to know what my set price is. I always tell them going in though at first communication, my prices are negotiable to let them know that that's not, stuck in
Carved in
cement
stone.
and stone, etched in stone, and that I'm not going to budge, which may scare some folks off. You've just got to be able to be flexible and let them know. Again, I put mine up there because I want everyone to know going in. That way they don't, write me a million times and, well, how much do you charge? How much do you charge? How much for this? How much for that? It's out there. It's clear cut and it cuts down on a lot of headaches having to go back and answer questions over and over and over about pricing.
Yeah, see that sometimes bother me that that's sometimes their first question on some people. How much do you charge?
Hmm.
I get that a lot in the magic business. How much do you charge an hour? Well,
Yeah.
what for? Do you want walk around magic? Do you want a stage show? Do I need my bring my sound? Do you need? Are you 5 minutes away? Are you 500 miles away? There's so many things that you can't just say here's my price.
So
So
many variables is correct.
yeah,
Bart, hi, Bart Gaffney. Good to see you today, my friend. I have a sliding scale that increases weekly from November 1st to Christmas Day. There is a bump for the Thanksgiving holiday, 4-day weekends. I also charge more on weekends and evenings. Premium weekends, second and third weekends in December are super prime. I stick to my prices. Bart, that's a good point. I do have mine broke down in a similar fashion on my pricing page. That way, and again, I still get questions because they're confused half the time anyway, but it still cuts out on some of the confusion for some folks that do understand the pricing level. But again, great point. Great points.
yeah, we all know we should charge more on those premium days. At
Yes.
least we should. I mean, it's just
Well, yeah, absolutely.
it's exactly. I think someone who said it earlier. I have a family that I've done for 12, 15 plus years. Same price, and it's Christmas Eve. But I can't up their price. I've been with the family for so many years. I can't change the price, even though I should on Christmas Eve. I just can't. That I would feel unethical about upping their price just because it's Christmas Eve to a family I've done for so many years. So
That's the old grandfather clause,
yeah,
grandfathered in.
yeah.
Bart, my prices are completely driven by supply and demand. That is another good point. Ted says, when people ask how much do I charge, my response generally, how much does a house cost? It all varies. That's true. It does all vary.
That's why you don't know until you get the information of what they're looking for. You know,
That's right.
how many hours, how many children, how long you're going to be there, how far you got to travel. Um, so, wow, man, you guys are on fire today. Fantastic. Wow, you got to cool down one of these cool new cups.
Everyone is going to want to know where you got that.
Oh, they're going to want to know where they got that.
Mhm.
Come on, you guys know Spangle.
StuffForSanta.com.
StuffWithSanta.com. Man, it's a great cup. It's even a metal straw. It's fantastic. Even
Yeah.
comes with
Yeah.
a bended one too. It's
Yes, it
fantastic.
does.
Keeps everything cold. I bought two. I got a black one that says Santa Claus, but this is the one I kept right here. It's
Very good.
dynamite,
Well,
guys. Get them. Get them.
and not to take away from SantaCloset.org, which
Nope.
is our sponsor on Monday. Sorry
Monday.
about that, Wade and Scarlett, but we had to throw that in there. That was too cool. All right. So, hey, speaking of SantaCloset.org, are we ready to jump along and let's do some trivia?
Speaking of that.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Santa's Closet is under new ownership. Let's welcome Santa Wade and Scarlett Kaufman of Tennessee, whom will continue the tradition of bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Don't forget to visit their sites at santascloset.org and support their efforts of bringing quality products to the community. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
All right, Randy, throw that question out there to him. This is a good one again today.
I just got to say this. Earlier today, I made a comment about the buttons for Santa's. That's where I got all mine from, was Santa Claus Net. So
Yes.
they got incredible buttons. They just blew me away. That's where I got mine for my Coke suit. So let's get to the question. I have to. This is cool. This is a cool question. Okay. Reindeer are the only deer species. Now, reindeer are the only deer species that has something in common with their feet and noses. Those two things have something in common. Why do reindeer mainly travel into the wind? What do they have in common? I guess those are the two questions. What
Yes.
do they have in common? Their feet and their nose have in common, and why do they travel into the wind? So we need both answers. What do the nose and the feet have in common on the reindeer? Reindeer is the only species of deer that has this. And why do they fly into the wind? Not because the drafting of the flight pattern. That's not the answer. I'll give you that hint. But we need both of those answers.
We're talking about in the wild, in nature.
Yeah, in the real, not in 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, but in the real
Right.
world. Why do reindeer have nose and hoofs?
And Randy had a great point there too about the buttons. Wade and Scarlett have probably one of the best selections of buttons anywhere in the industry.
They're
So
beautiful.
many choices to choose from, and a
It
good
just adds
supply.
so much
And
of that Coca-Cola suit. It really does.
yes,
I had to change it as soon as I got mine because it was worth. It just
now
makes it pop.
when I special ordered my Adele's Coca-Cola suit years ago, she sent me back an email and said, I've had this one set of buttons that I've had for a long time. It was only one set, and I've been looking for someone to give them to, and you end up with them. And I don't know why she put them on my suit, but they were triangular buttons. They were silver, really cool design. And in the center, it had a glass dome.
Wow.
And during an event, not this last year, but the year before, one of the buttons got pulled off and lost during a session where children were climbing in on my lap a lot, and I didn't notice it. Went off, went back, wasn't there. Couldn't find it. Somebody must have picked it up. So I had to change buttons. I went to the reindeer buttons, the ones that got the names on them. Got those from santascloset.org, and they're a little bit bigger button. They actually fit the buttonholes better
Well, how
and
was it
easier
putting
to
how was
button
it
up a
putting a
little better.
triangle button in through the hole? How was it doing that?
It was hard. I fought with those things. That was the downfall, was trying to get that. Of course, the pointed tip went in easy. It was the bottom part.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to spin the button and try to,
Huh.
manipulate in there. It was just always hard to deal with. So I was glad that, I decided to go ahead and change mine. Had my wife sew the new ones on. Really love the new buttons on mine, and I've had them for 2 seasons now.
Yeah. So, but we got to thank Wade and Scarlett
Yes,
for taking over. I mean, really do.
those
Thank you
buttons.
guys.
When we do SatBob classes, I have a teaching container that I carry with me, and I've got an assortment of buttons from Stephen Arnold and Tom Cordemelia, who designed all the buttons for Santa's Closet, and I was using those to use as examples to show the classroom, and I already had the buttons, and now I need to replace them. Someone has to reach out and get a set to show at school at show and tell. All right, looks like we got some great answers coming in here. I do want to go back real quick before we move on and pick up the last comment that Bart put in on the hot topics. He said, and this is another great point, Serena. I want to go back and pick it up. Christmas Eve, I did a $400 half-hour visit with a $100 tip, back to back with a pro bono terminal child visit. Now, say he charged $400, got a $100 tip, but then did a pre uh, visit with a terminally ill child, and therefore however long he had a half hour, and he had travel, then he had to visit with the terminally ill child. So really and truly, the money balances. And I think it was Parker or somebody had mentioned up in the comments that we didn't mention the fact that many of us try to do X amount of charitable visits each year. For me, for years, it was working with the Lone Star Santas, doing the convoy of toys, donating my time to them, to give back to the community, and always really felt good about doing that. But we do have to charge because we do have expenses, as someone mentioned.
Yeah, and some there's been people I know that'll charge even just a minimal fee just to say I have expenses. Can you cover my expenses? You know, it might be say $50, and a lot of places aren't going to balk at that. So,
Yep, for sure. All right, let's do the exit video and get on into the next portion of the show. All right, up in Chatterbox News time, and I'm going to turn it over to Randy. We've covered this again week in and week out, but until the event arrives, we want to keep trying to push this because it is a great event. And Randy, it's yours.
yeah, it's coming real soon, folks. June 1st and 2nd at Roughbury, Michigan, is the Christmas Performers Workshop, taught by Santa True up in Roughbury, Michigan. You Michigan and Ohio people now understand it's about right here in Michigan. That's Michigan. I know. Sorry, Bob. I know it doesn't make any sense to you. Detroit's over here. Never mind. But that's the 1st and the 2nd of June is Christmas Performers Workshop. I've been putting posts up every week. We're doing a little countdown. We have the link to the MAPS website for you to join in. I think we have about 60 people signed up or close to that. It's quite a few. Then, of course, on the 3rd and the 4th of June, we have the Jingle Joy Retreat. You can just stick around at a place called the Double J Ranch. Thursday and Friday is one event, of course, a paid event for the class, and then Saturday and Sunday is a free event for the 3rd and the 4th. You have to pay for your stay and food, but there's a lot of fellowship and fun and everything else. Just same thing. I've been posting some things on there online through the Tuesday Night Live and a few other sites to join in for that. You can read all about it, about what's been going on. There's learning, there's recreation. Biggest thing is just fellowship to get away. Then, of course, Christmas Performers Workshop is going to be the 10th and the 12th down in Cincinnati. So same thing. And again, Christmas Performers Workshop is more of a performance based. Not you're not really going to learn the history of Santa, or you might sing little songs, but they're a little different. The Reindeer Macarena and things like that. And then also August 12th and through the 13th, yeah, 12th and 13th out in La Hambre. I never can get that word right. California is Christmas Performers Work. So this coming up, of course. Then the big things coming up in between there. School of Santa, man, down in Branson. Don't miss. Don't miss the week of it's where they say what is it, education and fun connect, because there's so many great things that the Spangle puts together for School of Santa for 2 weeks. Of course, Tuesday Night Live is going to be doing live feeds from there, so we'll tell you about that in a few minutes when we talk about what's coming up on Tuesday Night Live. But don't miss, those are 2 weeks. 3, I don't think you'd make it, Bob, right? I didn't think you would make 3 weeks down in Branson. Yeah, no, I don't think that would. I don't think
people know how it is.
I don't know if it's going to be rough to make 2 weeks for some of you guys, I think.
Going to be a long 2 weeks.
July 13th through the 16th, and then again the following week, July 20th through the 23rd. So there's 2 weeks of School for Santa. Again, it's just great learning, great entertainment, great fellowship. Man, and fellowship is priceless. Of course, the education is, but fellowship is really priceless. And of course, they have the guest speakers, Ed Taylor, and that's an oddity for him to fly anything past outside of his normal California area. So he'll be there, and of course, Spangle will have his truck, and Tuesday Night Live will be there. And man, what a hoot! First week sold out, right, Bob? 110 people.
Sold out pretty much. Like I said, if you still interested in trying to go the first week, there are always a few cancellations for one reason or another. Get your name on that cancellation list or reserve list in case anyone does. And again, that's, we're down to less than 2 months now. Speaking of the 13th, today is the 15th, so 2 months to go. And 2 weeks is going to be a long time, only because there is so much going on, and it's during the 4 days of classroom plus the shows at night, plus we go over and hang out in the lunchroom, breakfast room, whatever you want to call it, because they have dessert over there at night. And gosh, there's been many a night that we was over at 11, 12 o'clock at night just to get back up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to get ready to do the next day. So 2 weeks is going to be a long time to
fun. And did I say the word fun? Fun.
Yep, absolutely. And so that brings us to the next thing on the list, and that is Gordon Bailey's Memorial Service, a celebration of life, June 10th in Honey Grove, Texas. Honey Grove is in the northeast corner of the state of Texas, really close to, just can almost throw a rock across the river to Oklahoma and not that much further over to Arkansas. So it is up in the northeast corner. Church of Christ, 403 West Main Street, 75446. Service starts at 11 a.m. Central Time, is officiated by Santa Mel, Melissa Lynn, our very own Melissa, and she also does a Sunday morning service at Spangle's event each year. Does a fantastic job. We were looking for someone special to be able to officiate and oversee the service. She was the first one popped into mine, and she accepted, and we are so grateful for that. Back to I know I'm backtracking here. The School of Santas, the 2 weekends. There is Larry Talbert that covers insurance and magic. Deanna Golden will be back this year to cover some Mrs. Claus portions. We have Miranda Lambert coming back. She is Ritter, coming back. That has the reindeer farm in Kansas. Going to be doing a really cool presentation she does. So it's not just Ed, it's others, and going to be action packed. So, all right, back to Gordon Bailey. I'm sorry to jump off there real quick. Donations to Gordon Bailey's Memorial Fund is still coming in, but they have slowed down quite a bit. We are still around $2,000 short of our goal. We want to give a heartfelt thank you to all those who have given. I think we're really close to having enough to cover the main things that needed to be covered. I think we're going to be okay. But if we had a little bit more, we could do a little bit more for the memorial service, which is on the back end of the cost of everything. So anyway, that is, again, 403 West Main Street, Church of Christ, 11 a.m. Central Time. And immediately afterwards, we're going across the street to Chris and Scott Kovic house at 308 West Market Street in Honey Grove. And over there, we'll do the memorial barbecue, hang around, tell stories. If you're coming, you need to RSVP to the barbecue portion, please. That way they know how much food to have prepared. And also, if you're coming, BYOC, that bring your own chair, because they have limited chairs at their house. All right.
It is being posted on the on the Tuesday Night Live site. Whoever that Facebook user is, it is posted on there. And I have to ask Bob. I know at one time you were talking about doing a live feed or a live. Or is that still possible? Is that just kind of?
Yes, and I should have mentioned that. That was Patrick Miles that asked that question. Patrick, also, if for those who cannot travel, aren't able to travel, have other commitments, making it impossible for them to travel, or just in general that doesn't want to travel that far, Tuesday Night Live, TNL Productions will be doing live coverage of the memorial service from the church. So you can either catch that on our Tuesday Night Live Facebook group and or our YouTube channel. It'll be broadcast or streamed, I guess is the proper word, on both live. So we'll be able to cover that for everyone who is not able to attend in person.
That's good. I have a weekend at working at Toledo Zoo that weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I would love to come down, but at least I can get back to the hotel and watch.
True has a workshop that weekend too.
Yeah.
So that's another reason for doing a live feed. And again, the live feed will be recorded, so you'll be able to go back and watch it on either the Facebook group and or the YouTube channel. As everything that we do is recorded and put on both those locations. So if you don't catch it live, then you can go back and watch it at a later time and date. All right, let's go on and preview to the Tuesday Night Live upcoming guests and shows. Randy, you want to cover this?
Sure. Yeah. Well, tomorrow night's already the middle of, well, today's 15th. I must say the middle of May, but tomorrow's May 16th is Dave Saunders again. We've been talking about for a long time. I mean, it's going to be an incredible roller coaster, fun, exciting, interesting talk tomorrow night between what he does as Santa, what he does as an actor, and of course what he did years ago at 9/11. So it's going to be everything. How he's transitioned into being a professional Santa and some of his acting things. So you guys it's going to be another incredible show. Tomorrow night is May 16th for Dave Saunders. Now this is kind of a different one. May 23rd. There's no real guest, but I just want to let you guys in on a secret. It's a special guest, but I can't tell you who it is. So don't miss May 23rd, okay? It says on my thing, no guest yet, but don't tell Bob I'm telling you, but there is a special guest, okay? Don't tune in though. Believe me, you will be shocked and you'll love it. You'll love it. May 23rd. Bob didn't hear, did he? You're not listening. Well, good.
And it's all right. We just didn't want to. And this is a teaser. We do have a guest, as Randy said. We're not revealing who that guest is. It's a very, very special guest, someone that we've looked forward to trying to get an interview with for quite some time. And so we're happy to have this person as our guest next week on the 23rd. And that's all we're going to say about that.
Yeah.
Got to tune in.
And we know it's free, so tune in. It's free. Okay, May 30th. Jackie, good old Jackie Jeremlin, of course. Simply Mrs. Claus. Of course, what else can I say? That's just you will that says it all. I mean, you know what she does. You know what fantastic things are there. Another incredible, that is the 30th of May. Don't miss Jackie. Wow.
Now,
Wow.
see, here's where the twister came in. Our guest on June 13th was actually scheduled for May 23rd next week. But due to a death in her family, she had to reschedule with us. So we pushed her back a couple of weeks, and that left the 23rd open. And I want to say thank you to Spangle for going out and grabbing someone for the empty spot that we had next week, the 23rd. Again, not revealing who that is, but it will be a fun week on Tuesday Night Live. Now, back to June 13th. We're jumping all over the place
June
today,
30th.
Randy.
No problem. Again, don't miss Jackie. Come on, guys. I mean, that's going to be dynamite night listening to Jackie about stuff she does, and just that's the 30th. Then we go, of course, June 13th is Julie Cracky. I hope I said that right.
Julia Cracky, that's correct.
Julia Cracky is Therm Apparel. Of course, you know, guys, that's those vests that we got to have. She sold out at Gatlinburg. You gotta have them. I mean,
I got one.
your core temperature just gets up so high when you're inside, when you've got a suit on, when you've got a robe on. It doesn't matter if you're in a parade outside. Man, you're going to be thankful for the money, and they are just quality all the way. The coolest thing, and I you know, I didn't believe it until I saw it. Be honest with you guys, that when you sat down, all the other vests gets you all like this, and it does. It just pushes everything up, but not Julius. You'll be, man. That makes all the difference for sitting and being comfortable with it on. And you've got to feel comfortable, and you've got to feel natural sitting there with this, with the cooling vest on underneath everything. And
well, too, Randy, the support that it gives you not only in your cookie zone,
sitting up straight,
but yes, all through your lumbar and your back is tremendous. The research that they put into it, the research and development, and I was really just amazed at how comfortable it is and how well it stays in place and how well it even, you know, sometimes with the old style, the ice packs in the back was uncomfortable when you were sitting and leaning back. You know, most of us sit forward, but if you don't have a line, you don't have children in front of you, you know, and you want to relax your back for just a moment, you don't have that much problem with this one because of the way the positioning is and the support that it gives you.
Yes, and of course, Julie, she'll tell you about all the research and how they came up with the design and everything else, which is really interesting in itself. To take that much time and effort to make our life so much easier and cooler. That, I mean, you know, guys, there's been times we're just like, oh, I can't make another minute. I'm just sweating to death. You know what I mean? It gets that. I mean, especially, I mean, I live in a northern state, so it's not as bad for me. But boy, I still can use it. You get in the southern states, it's just hot, hot, hot. So don't miss on the 13th of June. June 20th, Carl White. Carl's here. The Jolly Blue-Eyed Santa. Kind of a new Santa. He hasn't been doing Santa very long, so he'll tell us something about how it's gone, you know, learning his way up through, just like Ben did a few weeks ago. It's always great to have new Santas up. They have some great ideas. Of course, the knowledge they also are getting is phenomenal, and help us old guys out on stuff about seeing things differently too, which is great. So don't miss Carl on the 20th of June. Then the 27th, Bruce Katowicz. He was sick a couple weeks ago. And Bruce, I heard you're doing better. Thank goodness, Bruce. Bruce will be here on the June 27th instead. Again, just an incredible man. He's a professor and at the Windsor University over there in Ontario, Canada. He's a designer bearded Santa, but just that voice, man. I just love listening to him, and he'll help us with our voice. And again, we all know about Carnegie Hall, and yes, he's going to be at Carnegie Hall next year. I love saying that, man. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? You become Santa. Even though he's not going to be at Santa at Carnegie Hall, he's going to be at his vocal stuff there at Carnegie Hall.
That's true.
And of course, Then it's already getting into July, and the special things that are going on at Branson. 2 nights, both week Tuesday Night Live's going to be going on. So man, don't miss Branson for those 2 weeks. The 11th, excuse me, I got to get the dates right. The 13th and 18th, then the 20th, and probably the 23rd again. Probably will be another night, I would think, even in July, of nights live from Branson. Man, and how are you going to fit it in between all those night shows and partying, Bob?
Yeah, it's going to be wild, that's for sure. And again, the following Tuesday night, which will be July 25th, will be Christmas in July, and we have a very special night that night too. So we're
Christmas in July.
July is going to be action packed.
I mean, again, I'll go back to that word. It's free, guys. It's free. Man, that favorite F word. Thanks, Michael. It just rocks. Where else can you get all that? I mean, no yearly dues for this. Just sit back, relax, and take it all in. So that's what we've got coming up, guys. And of course, there's the rest of the year going on. The rest of the year. This is only half the year done. Wow.
Yeah, that just gets us through mid-season. Crazy. It's been a great season, both here on Monday and on Tuesday. We're so blessed to have the folks that tune in each week with us, and our featured guests, and to have Randy, Spangle, Scott, Jessica, Angela. I mean, we've got such a good crew, and everything has really come together for us this year in our season 3. Okay, so let's pick up a comment here. Charlie Johnson said he bought his cooling vest at Santa Pana Reunion at the sale price. They were out and it was shipped to my home, and I got it the day I got back. Same thing for me. Mine was here when I got home, Charlie. And Bart says, laugh out loud, I had to buy a warming vest last season. Latitude. and when you start talking about Michigan and the peninsula, I chuckled, and it wasn't at you, Randy. It was at a comment up here. See if I can find it again. Oh gosh, where did it go? Well, I don't see it. Oh well, I'll see if I can find it before we get out of here.
No
I'll
problem.
look some more. There's so many comments; they come in so fast that everything gets buried if you don't, because there's only like 3 or 4 that show up on our screen, and you have to go back and find them. All right, so hey, let's do this. Let's give the trivia answer for our SantaClausette.org trivia today. All right, so the question that we posed to everyone is Reindeer. I am really having trouble with that. Reindeer are the only deer species to have something in common with their feet and nose. Why do reindeer mainly travel into the wind? We needed to know what their feet and nose had in common and why they travel into the wind. The answer there.
Is that it? They both smell? Your feet and nose smell? No, that's not it. That's not it.
Remember when we was kids in school, people would say if your nose runs and your feet smells, you're built upside down. Okay, so the answer is both their nose and bottom of their feet, which are known as hooves, are covered in hair. The only deer species that has hair on both their nose and their feet covering. Why do they fly into the wind? So they can pick up scents. And that was the funny that I seen, and I don't remember who put it up there, but someone said, Rudolph must have painted his toenails red, and he traveled into the wind because he doesn't want to smell Santa's farts. Ted Flynn. That's what I was laughing about.
That's what it is. I got you. Thanks,
it made me think about it, and it looked up and went up the screen and found it. All right, so our winner.
Thanks,
Jared DeWitt.
Jared DeWitt. Very good, Jared. Fantastic job, man.
Jared.
All right, I'm pretty sure I still have your address, so we'll get you a gift coming from SantaClausette.org. Okay. Gosh. Wow. Let's take a breath for a moment. No, we can't. It's time for magical moments. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Magical Moments again. Great to see you guys again. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys are wonderful to join us. Now, again, I said earlier, but can you believe it's only 223 days till Christmas? Man, every time I think about that, it gets closer and closer every day, doesn't it? Yeah, that's where it is. It sure does. But what I want to talk about today is, of course, Santa's cookie region. Well, not so much the cookie region, but how much Santa we have to talk about cookies. And of course, we all know those fun little lines like, what is Santa's favorite cookie? The round ones, or the favorite cookie is the one I'm eating, or whatever it is, whatever your little funny little line is you want to talk about, or they ask your favorite cookie, and I always say my favorite cookie is a snickerdoodle because it makes me laugh. It's a silly word. Whatever you want to do about a cookie, but because cookies are so intertwined with Santa, that I have done tricks to do with magic to do with Santa. Of course, you guys saw the pan a week or so ago, or a couple weeks ago, but this is actually another small one I actually made, and it actually is a cookie maker. Now, it's the same as the other one. You just do that and you push the red button, and of course you make the cookie. So, but what you want to do, and again, that's just a dove pan, but there's so many things you can do. Of course, you can add this together with Mrs. Claus decorating cookies. Again, this is cookie is 3 years old. It's a real cookie, but it's about 3 years old. I still use it in here. It's been shellacked, but it's a great thing to do. Is then if you got a Mrs. Claus, and you can sell that as part of your thing of decorating cookies. But what I kind of teased you last week about was doing something with a cookie that everybody knows about. Oh, we all love those cookies, don't we? We all love those cookies, and they are really good. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That was rude. I'm sorry. That was rude. I took a bite. I'm sorry. I better start all over. I apologize. I really didn't take a bite. What it is, it's fun to get a magic trick. It actually is a magic trick. But then now you've got Oreos, not this one, of course, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Oreos to pass out to the children is just something to munch on, but it's just, these are Oreo cookies. This is actually a magic trick, and it looks just like an Oreo cookie. It was based upon a trick many, many years ago called a bite quarter. It actually is a Oreo. It's made out of rubber, but it has a little hinge and a little piece of little rubber band all wrapped around it. So then you do the old, I didn't bite it enough. Bite. You can look like you've got a bite on it. Of course, it just pops back on. But it's always a fun thing to do because you can do something with a cookie, which you're talking about is Santa's favorite thing is cookies and all that. And now, of course, you can talk about the inside, the outside of an Oreo, but then you can also just get rid of this rubber one and you can pass these out. Of course, wow, those are real cookies, but the other cookies, of course, do not do this because they're real cookies. It's just something to add to something that is a ordinary product, an ordinary thing that we talk as Santa about to our children and to the families, is cookies, and we just took it one step further to make it a magic trick. I know Charlie out there, Charlie uses these a lot. I think Charlie Johnson uses these a lot. I actually, Charlie was the one that made a comment about these a couple years ago, I think, and I said, man, I got to get me one. So thank you, Charlie. But I just added the idea about putting it in a thing and then passing the rest out. Of course, you want to make sure that you get an okay by the parents that you're giving out cookies. But it's something that we as Santa, that they always think we love cookies. And now you can add a magic trick or something that's magical to an item that people just want to talk about. And again, like I said, with making the cookie, where'd the cookie go? Oh, my pan go. Um, like I said, nothing better than producing a cookie than and also having Mrs. Claus then help decorate cookies. So you can do them in tandem by also upselling, which is always a great thing to do. We talked about pricing and contracting. Upselling is a great idea too. So instead of you just making an appearance and saying Merry Christmas and singing a song, you can say, hey, look, we can actually, do Mrs. Claus can come along and decorate cookies. So you're upselling and staying a little longer and all that. But besides, you're putting that little more magical touch. But it's such fun. It's just fun to take those ideas, something that is ready for Santa that we always talk about or think about Santa, and taking it that step further. That's what taking, like I said last week, to a B, C, to an A performer, that little extra special. So they book you. And because they'll always remember Santa, like I said, they'll always remember Santa, but I want them, and you want them to remember you as Santa. So they book you again, so you can stand out. So always believe in yourself, and thank you very much, guys. You guys are dynamite. I can't thank you enough for joining me on Magical Moments. Thanks, Bob. Back to you.
Fun is that? Wow, that's too cool. I like that a lot. Good job, Randy. All right, so let's go ahead and move along to Santa's flight checklist. All right, Santa's flight checklist. Doing your homework up front and making sure you're well prepared. Today's Santa's flight checklist, let's talk about our travel. Our flight checklist is important and should always be a safety factor. You will be traveling whether you work at a fixed location like a mall or a box store or even doing home visits. Make sure you keep a full tank of gas and check the fluids and tires daily each morning before taking off. I even catch myself walking around my vehicle doing a quick visual check before each time getting into it during the day. Never know when you run over something. The last thing you want to do is have trouble, shred a tire or something of that nature. Never know when something could be in your pathway as you're ready to leave out, or something get under your tire that could do them harm. Your checklist really starts prior to the season, and the sleigh should be checked out and the oil changed and any tire problems noticed before then. Getting up and rushing out the door just to find out you have a problem can make you late and even snowball out of control for following gigs. Trust me, when you're in full garb, the last thing you need is to have trouble. And that is today's Santa's flight checklist. And it's so important again to make sure that that you don't have any trouble. Get out, enjoy yourself, make it from point A to point B to point C, and have fun.
Exactly. It's the old-fashioned Cub Scout, Boy Scout motto: always be prepared. Because you never know. Murphy's Law happens so often. It really does. I mean, I always have a second Santa suit. I always have regular clothes in my car because I don't know. I mean, it can happen, and just to check your vehicle is a great thing, but you always come prepared. Exactly, Bob. And full tank of gas and petrol. There's nothing worse than trying to pump gas and you've got a Santa suit on. That's dangerous.
I made that mistake my very first year, and it was a lesson learned. I got to the gas station, and I was actually and I had left with plenty of time ahead, knowing that I had somewhere to travel, and it was a pretty good distance, about 25 minutes away. But I should have known better than to be in my suit and try to pump gas. Number one, you get the chance of gasoline splashing back on you, or getting it off the handle. Sometimes it's on the handle, and then you smell it on your hand. But the worst part was everybody wanted a picture with Santa, and I know I spent 15 minutes at least taking pictures at the gas station. before I could get in my vehicle and get away, and was almost late.
Yeah, yeah, it's just be I mean, and sometimes you have a busy day, you might have to get hopefully you don't have to get gas in between. That's a lot of traveling.
Yeah,
But get it before like you said, do that. Take 2 seconds, like you said, Bob, to walk around your car to check this that tire looks a little low. I gotta go, but it's just gonna maybe help you for tomorrow or something. Just be like Bob said, have that checklist. I know we posted a checklist before about things you can't forget to take along just to play it safe. Like I said, I keep extra clothes along, just regular street clothes, just in case something happens. And because we have bad weather up here, if I spin off the road, I'm not going to try to dig myself out in my Santa suit. I'm going to
or
put a coat on, a regular coat, and you know, so
change a tire.
or
That
change the
would be
tire,
terrible.
right?
You got AAA or you got roadside assistance, that's fine. But sometimes you don't have time to wait 30, 45 minutes, an hour. If you're contracted to be somewhere and you need to get there, then your best option is going to be to get out and change that tire as quick as you can. And if
Right.
you have a spare, that's something else. Always make sure that your spare has air, tread is good on it, and that you have a jack. Gosh, how many times people got out and out, tried to change the tire and realized they didn't have a jack. So those are important parts. Now, a lesson I learned when I was driving a tow truck uh, was in one of the small wreckers one day. Went out to a location to pick up a vehicle, pulled in there, backed up, got myself hooked up, got ready to leave, left to put off the clutch, and came to a complete stop immediately, and I hit the windshield.
Oh.
Little yellow bar in the parking lot that was below the hood level that I didn't see when I pulled in.
Oh,
That was my lesson on walking around the vehicle before you get back in. We go on vacation, we travel. I walk around, look at my tires, make sure everything looks good. No liquids leaking out each time we stop for a little F facility break or, to stop, get us uh, something to drink or whatever. I always walk around and look. It's just a lesson I learned years ago. All right, guys, any questions on today? If you have, throw them in there for me.
yeah, somebody, I
Parker
think
says
it
this.
might be Charlie probably saying that cookie works great in person or live at virtual visits. Yeah, like I
Yeah, it
said, I
was
don't know.
Charlie.
That was
Yes.
Charlie. Yeah, I didn't see it. Just says, yeah, thanks, Charlie.
And
Great one to find. But it's just you go on any local magic shop and pick it up, and they look really real. They really do. Like I said, live works good. So it takes a little practice. I mean, I was just playing with it. So, but we anybody other questions? Man, we got thank you guys so much. Always, we are so blessed and so honored to have you all here. Hi, Mel. Glad you said you're late, but glad you're here. And also let you know that Mel, you said is officiating for Norm. She's also going to for Gordon. She's also going to be there for our Sunday at the Double J and do the Sunday morning service, and also at the Red Suit Conclave. Mel is going to be our Sunday morning. So thanks, Mel. Thank you.
let's see here. Dana Prostrella. Hello, Dana. Says that it's even worse for Mrs. Claus, talking about
Ooh,
breaking down or, getting out to pump gas or whatever. Mrs. Claus has to think about that also, especially if you're traveling by yourself, which that's a whole other, topic in itself.
yeah. I
Parker
mean,
says that's why I got a car that doesn't stand out in the crowd. That's true too. Although his new HHR does. He's being sarcastic there. Uh,
but yeah, Mrs. Claus, definitely you should bring an extra pair of boots or whatever, change of shoes or something. Because if you, yeah, I mean, that's even rougher for ladies to do that. It's rough for anybody, but um,
Patrick Moss says, this was awesome. Stay jolly, guys. Thank you, Patrick, for joining us today. And I hope you come back and spend time with us again, either on Monday and or Tuesday or both. Ernie popped in, says, hi, everyone. Good to see you, Ernie. All right, guys. So I think, a fantastic show. Mondays just keep getting better. And so glad to have everyone here with us today. Had a great crowd. Starting to thin out a little bit now. So I think everybody's ready to get out of here.
yep.
Randy's got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. So we're going to call it a day. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you back here next Monday. And tomorrow night, don't forget, our guest is the one, the only Dave Saunders, firefighter. We're going to talk about his experience at 9/11. I don't want to go into 9/11 too deep. bad memories for a lot of folks that was involved in the rescue, first responders. So we're just going to hit on that lightly, but we are going to hit his acting career and all the things he has coming up, movies, commercials. The guy is extremely busy in his acting profession, and of course, find out how he becomes Santa, how his son was involved, how his family is involved, and go from there. So, Dave Saunders tomorrow night. Randy, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and most of all, guys, stay magical. Thanks again for joining us. You guys are fantastic. Thanks, Bob, Angela. Thank you.
Bye, guys.